Thanks for coming back to you that attended again, and welcome to the new people to the world of Mojo and the wonderful world of Wi-Fi, intelligent Wi-Fi, cognitive Wi-Fi. I just see a couple of other people quietly logging in, so I'm going to slow down a little bit, let those guys log in. We're going into how smart is your Wi-Fi today, and we're going to do a quick recap on what we covered off on the first session. Mojo Networks is more secure than anybody else within the cloud environment for Wi-Fi security, because we're not just responsible for the security of the data within the data center. We're actually responsible for the security of the data in the cloud as well. So we're SOC 2 compliant. We're the only people in the world that actually have that qualification at this moment in time. Just cover off the tri-radio APs again, because this is where we get a lot of our intelligence from, because we have the third radio that has the capability to listen, be used as a spectrum analyzer, and that's some of the things we're going to cover off this morning. As you can see, we use the latest QCA chipset. We're actually one of the only manufacturers in the industry that advertises what chipset we use and how much memory we put in our APs. So our APs all use a quad-core processor, and they all have 256 meg of memory as a minimum. And you'll see why we have that memory in there in a second. So I'm going to cover this off again quickly, because this is quite important to Mojo. It's probably quite important to everybody else that's sitting around the table. The WPA Crack was released on 2 a.m. on October the 16th. We had a fix by 4 a.m. on the 16th for on the AP side. There was only one AP side thing. A lot of manufacturers actually said turn off 802.11r, which, if you're using that feature, was a really interesting fix. We didn't. We actually built a fix. We had it released, and we did an emergency release at 4 a.m. the next day. Because of the Mojo WIP solution, we can protect and mitigate against any of these issues on the client side. This is the client side issues that we have. Okay. If anybody does have a question, by the way, please feel free to raise it as a chat or raise your hand, and we'll have that. I'll answer the questions. We'll try and do them all at the end. Okay. So our solution fixed the 802.11r side of things, but we were already mitigating and fixing the client side issues. We were the only people in the marketplace that actually had that. Okay, we had a simple checkbox that just fixed everything straight out of the bag. Okay, so as we said before, Wi-Fi is always gets the blame. It's not the network's broken, or your DHCP server's broken, or your DNS is broken, or the router's broken. The Wi-Fi is broken. It's always the Wi-Fi is down. So how do we find out the root cause? How do we fix those problems? Well, the way we do it is we have intelligence built into our APs that actually allow us to do direct real-time insight into the network to look at where the failure is actually happening on the network. Could it be an association issue? Could it be an authentication issue? One of the greatest problems in the industry is someone types in the wrong password, they kick off because they can't log on to the system properly. In our system, it actually says to you, wrong password, incorrect PSK. And I'm actually going to show you some of this. I'm going to do a live system in a minute. So this is not death by PowerPoint, guys. I'm just trying to flick through this so I can show you a live system. And then we see DHCP network failures and application failures. And again, we need to know the exact reason why the network is failing. If we know that, I don't have to send an engineer in a car to drive 2 hours to type in a password, or know that there's a problem with a passive infrared sensor, or that there's a problem with the WAN link. We can troubleshoot it live in real time. We know the real reason, and we can look at things such as latencies across the network that affect the performance or the logging in on a network. For example, if you were running some form of AAA authentication, and you come back to a centralized server and you have a bad WAN link, you're going to get EPOL timeouts. And those EPOL timeouts will cause issues with logging onto the network. We can tell you those latencies and we can fix them. So I said to you earlier, our APs have more memory and they have more processing power. And the reason behind that is we capture 200 packets per client, every client that is associated to that AP. And when we find out that there's a problem and we see a problem, i.e. packet 5 has come out, this could be a bad password, it could be we're not getting a DHCP response, it could be any number of things. That actually gets sent off to the cloud and gets held there for 7 days. So you can actually be a time traveler and you can go back in time and you can fix a customer's problem when they're not on site. Because we've given you the capability to look back at the historical data and fix things. This is automated packet capture. This is the type of thing that Wi-Fi engineers that have been doing Wi-Fi a long time have been looking for. This is great technology, and it is a very, very different, unique selling point for Mojo Networks. Whenever we go into any form of corporate meeting or anything nowadays, people take us very seriously because we're different and we give them a fix to the problem. It's cognitive automated Wi-Fi. I covered this off before. Mojo Networks doesn't have to go off air to do background scanning. That actually means we're listening to the air 24/7, 365, protecting the Wi-Fi with WIPS intrusion protection. If I can actually do something clever with that, and this is new to you guys, I can actually turn the third radio into a client and I can make it proactively test the network ready for the client to use in the morning. For example, if I'm a school or a hospital or any business, I can set an automated report that will go off and test all the APs on the network and tell you whether they're working or whether they're not working. That actually means that in theory, if I do a test in the morning and I see it because I'm managing that network that the AP is broken or the WAN is broken, I can have an engineer go into site if I cannot fix the problem before the customer is even aware of it. I'm now being proactive as opposed to reactive. We're building managed service Wi-Fi. We're building intelligent cognitive Wi-Fi. Okay, again, it's different from anyone else. No one else can do this. We can do it with a voice call as well. Anyone that's ever tried to do voice over Wi-Fi will know it's a very painful, very interesting experience. And I've spent a lot of time banging my head against the wall because I can't work out what's wrong with the network. I'm now given the tools to actually see where it's working on the network. And I'm getting a MOS score. I'm using an industry-based MOS scoring to give a report back to my customer, say your Wi-Fi is working. Well, that's fantastic. Now I'm not just looking at the Wi-Fi and fixing the Wi-Fi. I'm actually looking at the voice applications and looking at and intelligently monitoring the voice and making sure it's doing what it's meant to be doing. I'm not guessing. I'm not sticking my finger in the air and seeing which direction the wind's blowing and trying to guess that, oh, it could be an association problem. It might be DNS. Maybe you've got a problem with a LAN. I'm actually giving you real live data that tells you it's this problem, or in this case, it's all good as gold. This is intelligent Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not just about the APs anymore, okay? You get the AP, you stick them on the ceiling, the little flashing lights come on, you plug the Ethernet cable in, everything's magic and it works because it's standards-based Wi-Fi. We all do transmit beamforming, we all do 802.11 AC Wave 2, we all do the same stuff apart from Mojo. So we test the Wi-Fi, we test the voice capabilities of the network. We start to look now at application testing on the network. So I can actually test Office 365. I can test Cisco WebEx, GoToMeeting. I can test applications on the network and tell you whether they're doing what they are meant to be doing. Because as a business, can I afford for this GoToMeeting session to fail right now? No, I can't. Because what that actually means is, all you guys that are listening to me are disappointed with the response. You lose interest. You don't want to move forward. You don't want to work with us because of a bad communication. So now we're protecting that communication. We're testing that communication. And we're making sure it does what it says on the tin so it doesn't affect the business. I also have the capability to look into client logs. And I'm going to show you some of this live data in a minute. Because in my eyes, this is the type of thing as an engineer or a first line support guy, I can tell whether the network's working and whether the network does exactly what it needs to. If it doesn't work correctly, I need a simple way of fixing it. Try doing this with any other manufacturer on the marketplace and you'll find yourself doing Wireshark and PCAP captures and going through individual packets. We don't do manual packet captures anymore. Why do I want to waste an engineer's time? Why do I want them to try and fix something that might not be the problem anymore because they're not associated to that access point? They're on a different site. They're on a different SSID. We do this automatically and we give you intelligence that pushes back into the network and gives you capabilities that no one else can give you. If I want to change this from, this is what we call Mojo packets, I can change that into a PCAP and look at the native packet captures as well. So I'm just going to mute, I'm just going to unmute guys.
Yeah, but there is a ton of...
Okay, I'm getting a lot of feedback from someone. But just quickly, does anybody have any questions pertaining to this slide deck before I go onto the live system?
Yeah, Ian, it's Ian Lynch here. The application tab. Hi.
Yep.
Is there I saw a customization tab on there. I assume we can create our own scripts to run as part of this to test. Obviously, you're aware of our specific sort of platform requirements. Could we integrate that into your application?
So, are you talking more about your portal, or are you talking about the applications per se, the portal? So, in the next couple of releases, we're actually going to have a specific capability to do portal testing.
Okay.
So we can put it at a portal without you having to do any API integration. We'll point it at your portal and we'll test the portal live for you.
Okay, so are you looking for transactions then, or are you just looking to see things on a button in the right place on the screen?
At this moment in time, from what I understand, it will actually go off. It will have a fake login and it will try and download the web page and do everything it needs to do as if it was acting as a client logging into the network.
Okay.
Now, that's still coming out in the next couple of months, and I've seen it. No one's actually told me fully what it does, and I'm still trying to confirm that. But that's where we're going. We're building this foundation that if I want to do a specific test or I have a specific custom app on the network that I want to test, we're going to build that capability in as well.
Okay, that'd be really useful. Thanks.
All right, guys, I'm just going to put you all back on mute, and then I'm going to go and use a live system. So just bear with me for 2 seconds. Do this. Okay. This is my Mojo Alfre Aware server. I'm not going to show you any of the secret squirrel stuff today because I'm not allowed to. Some of you I could because we have NDAs in place, and there's some new people on this where I don't have NDAs in place, so I can't actually show you some of it. But this is the great stuff. This is the intelligence. This is my home network. So as you can see, we don't actually have a lot of clients on the network today. My wife's actually out shopping again. But as you can see, I can see how many clients I've got on the network. If anyone's failed to associate, I set this up earlier. No, I don't have a lodger, but I just set it up so you could see the information. But look, this is past history. This is in the past. This is yesterday evening. I can go back in time and I can fix problems with clients. So one of the great joys of dealing with Wi-Fi is this. One of your customers will ring you up and say, yesterday I was in the Slough office and I couldn't get on the Wi-Fi. And you're going to go to them, where are you today? Well, I'm in the London office. Okay. Why didn't you ring me yesterday? It would have made my life easier. I could have tried to do a manual packet capture. Well, actually, you don't need to do that anymore. You can actually go in and it will show you that it's done an EPOL handshake failure. And as you can see, I can open up the packet trace and I can actually go into the packets and I can see why the client has failed. From an engineer's perspective, this is gold dust. This is intelligence. This is the type of thing that fixes a problem in the past without you actually having to do anything. Oh, I think I've just lost. Okay, I think you guys are all back. I think I just lost you there for a second. Okay. But as you can see, we've got a full packet capture here, and we can see exactly right here that the authentication was no longer valid. Wrong password, ePOL timeout, could be any number of things, but there's, it's simple, it's easy, it's very, very effective. But this is the type of thing that I like to show you. So at this moment in time, I'm going to look at performance, and on my network, I can see that everything's working well. And I've got a sticky client. A sticky client is a device that won't actually roam to a better access point. In this case, it's my Sonos music stereo. But look, it's running at 24 meg. Well, 24 meg at a data rate on Wi-Fi just to download a little bit of music isn't bad. But it's actually connected to my office AP, which is a shed in the garden, where I'm standing at the moment, when it could be connecting to a better AP in the house. So there, straight away, I've been able to fix and look at an issue just by clicking on the client. Information that we have. I can see the baseline of my clients across the network. I can see some of them had issues with low RSSI rates. I can see my clients by average data rate. I can select what they're doing on the 5 gig. Most of my clients on the 5 gig are getting anywhere between 100 and 250 megasecond. On my 2.4 gig, my client RSSI is down a little bit here. Okay? I can see what my iPad's doing, and I can see the amount of traffic that I'm putting across the network. This morning, guys, I've been deliberately running things on my iPad and stuff like that so you can see real live data. Okay? This is information that our AP supplies automatically. Look at the amount of data that I've been downloaded. Please note the time, guys. I'm running on an Alpha server, which actually is based in India, and we have certain limitations that we can't change. But that would be a UK time normally. And what I want to do is I want to do this. This is where we get really clever. Guys, you can all see my iPad's connected to the network, and it's working really, really well. So one of the things I want to do is I've rung up, and I've said, look, there's a problem with the Wi-Fi. I want to get on the Wi-Fi network, but it's broken. It's running slowly. What's going on? So actually what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a live client debug right now, right this moment. This is 2-button click. Select the client, tick the checkbox, hit start. Now I'm capturing packets from this client. Okay, there won't be a lot to see because it's not really doing anything. But on my iPad right now, I'm actually going to break it. So I'm going to get it to de-authenticate from the network and associate to another SSID. Okay, and there we go. There's my test SSID. I type in the bad password, and I'm going to join. So what we should see in a few seconds is, there we go, instantaneous live information from a client. 2-button clicks. Client left BSS. Tried to do authentication. It can hear the AP. Oh, look, it's failed the 4-way handshake. I deliberately typed in the wrong password. My system, if I go to Aware, which updates every 15 minutes, should be able to tell me that I have one client failed there right away. Look at the reason. Incorrect password. No other Wi-Fi manufacturer on the planet can do this. They'll tell you that there's a bad authentication, but it won't tell you why it failed on the network. Intelligent, automated, cognitive Wi-Fi. This stuff is this is great stuff. This is building Wi-Fi that actually works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to cancel that login to the network, and I'm going to log back into the normal network. So there we go. And we should see, oh, look at that. Instantaneous. Anyone that has ever done anything with Wi-Fi, anyone anywhere in the world, will know that the biggest problem is not about putting the AP on the ceiling. It's not about getting the client to talk to the AP. It's about the troubleshooting afterwards. It's about having the intelligence, or a little engineer. You've got, basically, if you look at Mojo, Mojo is a layer 3 AP with an engineer sitting there testing the Wi-Fi for you, securing the Wi-Fi. You've got a security guard sitting in there as well. You've got a switch, and I'm just going to stop this trace now, guys, because I hope you've all seen that and see how simple that is. But you've got an engineer in the AP telling you what is wrong. Look at this. Following characteristics are most prominent on the network with authentication. Apple devices. It will actually start to tell you whether it's Apple devices that are wrong or Windows devices, what protocol, what AP. It's giving you real live information into the network to tell you what's happening. Now you can see that my client is re-authenticated and everything is good. If I go back into monitor again, guys, actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do quickly. Let's just do this. I'm going to do a live spectrum analysis. So that's my C130 that I'm connected to. I'm going to do a spectrum analysis. I'll run that for 10 minutes. I'm just going to run that in the background. I'm not even going to look at that, guys, okay? But let's go back into this. So let's say my iPhone's running slow and I need to know what the data rates are. So if I select this client here and I do this, sorry, wrong button. I want to do this one. I want to know whether I'm getting, let's see where I'm getting bad retries. Because a lot of retries are very bad on Wi-Fi. So that helps me try and fix the Wi-Fi. Look at the Wi-Fi intelligently. No, it's not that. You're only getting 2%. 2%'s about right. You know, it's not great because really great is nothing. But I'm getting 2%. No, I don't want to look at that. Okay. So what about my data rate? What am I getting as a data rate? I'm connected at 172 meg. Some people out there go and test your existing Wi-Fi networks and tell you whether you can look at this instantaneously. This is the information that helps you fix a problem. This is my Skybox, and down here you can see my Skybox is actually not connected to the network at the moment. Okay, but I want to have a look. Let's have a look what else we've got on the network. I want to get rid of that, and I want to see. Let's have a look. See what channel I'm connected to. I'm on a 5 gig channel. I know I'm associated to a 5 gig radio AP. This is the intelligence that helps us fix, maintain, monitor, and manage a Wi-Fi network very, very simply. Just quickly, I can look at my application visibility. My wife rang me earlier, and actually I hadn't noticed this, but I can actually, if I do this, I want to do this. It shows me Wi-Fi calling. Now I can test to see whether my Wi-Fi calling is working properly across my network. Or, hang on, I got a customer problem with WhatsApp. Oh, hello, there's my WhatsApp. We build applications. This is an application-aware access point. It gives you intelligence. We build with the intelligence that we have to build cognitive Wi-Fi. A couple of other people do this, but they don't tie this back into the big data story. Okay. So, guys, I'm just going to unmute you all. Let's do this. Someone is really loud, and I bet you that's my mate Zoe. Yes, it was Zoe. So, guys, does anyone out there have any questions at this moment in time?
Which we don't usually account for, but
that looks really easy, and I like it.
I mean, it's a very simple solution, and if we get it right, it really helps people do this really well.
Yeah, I think so.
So, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up for today before anyone else tells me tells me to wrap it up. But is everybody happy? Has everybody got the questions they wanted to answer, etc.?
Yeah, good for me, and thanks. I'd like to see a lot more about what's going to come in the portal testing bit, because that'll be absolutely invaluable to us. Yeah.
I'll make sure that I'll get an email sent out to the development team today for you guys, and we'll work out what's going on this. So one other thing, guys, just let me finish off on this before we go anywhere else. I'm going to mute everyone again, and then I'm going to say goodbye. But fat fingers. We've got one more webinar coming up. It's the Mojo Network Secure Physical Network. We're actually going to go into the security of the Wi-Fi and how we do that, and how we do some very clever patented technology. We still have the competitions going, guys, so I need you guys to be getting your T-shirts. I need to be wearing them. I need to be taking photos in some really weird places. We've already had photos in the pub, which are great. I'd like to see someone skydiving if we can do that. That would be really interesting. But yeah, guys, there's opportunities out there to win tickets to the rugby. Thank you very much for attending. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email the Arrow team, or if you've got my email direct details, email me directly and we'll help support you and work through anything else you need. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good day.